Hello Year 1. You did a brilliant job before half term with working with numbers to 50. So today we're going to practice ordering those numbers. Before we begin, let's warm ourselves up. What I would like you to do is, as I read each question, you can point to the screen where you think the number I'm saying is. So let's start off with the first one. 14. Can you point to the number 14? Excellent. Number 14 is here. 110 and 4 ones. Next, can you find the number 39? Fantastic. It's here 3 tens and 9 ones. Next, we need to figure out the answer to this addition calculation. 20 add 2. Okay, so we have 20, which is 2 tens, add 2 ones, which is the number 22. And finally, can you find the number that is 1 more than 49? Excellent, 1 more than 49 is 50, 5 tens and no ones. So the first thing we're going to do is order numbers from smallest to greatest. Pause the video and talk to your grown-up about what you think those words mean. We're going to use a number line to help us do this at first. Here we have some different numbers represented in lots of different ways. Pause the video and decide what each representation shows us. Okay, so the first representation is the word, and this word tells us the number 13. Next we have a tens frame, and we have no tens and 8 ones. Here we have the numerals, 1 10 and 6 ones makes the number 16, and finally the base 10, we have 1 10 and 1 1, which makes the number 11. Let's try and put these numbers on the number line now. So we will start with 13. Can you point to where it goes on the number line? Fantastic. It goes there. Next, let's look at the base 10. Can you point to where you think the number 11 goes on the number line? Think of the tens and the ones. Excellent. We have 1 10 and 1 1. Next we'll look at the tens frame. We have no tens and 8 ones this time. So that is the number 8. And finally the number 16, which we should be able to find on the number line. Brilliant. Now we've found them on the number line, can you tell your grown-up what you think the smallest number is? 8. Excellent. Then the next smallest is 11, 13 and 16 as the numbers get larger, greater as we move along the number line. This time we're ordering the numbers from greatest to smallest. So we are going to start with the greatest and move to the smallest. Again, we'll use the number line to help us, and we have some different representations. So this time I want you to pause the video and tell your grown-up where you think each of these numbers go. Okay, so we'll start with this number, the word, which says 19. Can you say 19? Fantastic. Here we have 9 ones. We have the numerals, 1 10, 7 ones, which makes 17, and the base 10. 1 10 and 4 ones makes the number 14. Let's see where these go on the number line. So we'll start with 17, we can find on the number line. Let's go for 19 next. Where do you think that goes on the number line? Fantastic, just down here, number 19. We'll look for the tens frame. We have no tens and 9 ones. That goes there. And finally the base 10. We have 1 10 and 4 ones. Can you find where that goes? There we go, 14. Now I want you to pause the video again and tell your grown-up the order from the greatest to the smallest. What order do the numbers go in? So we go from 19, 17, 14, and then 9, because we go from greatest to smallest, the numbers, we're going down the number line. So this time we have some larger numbers represented with base 10. The first thing we're going to do is try and figure out what each number represents. So let's have a look at the first one. How many 10s do we have? And how many 1s? We have 3 10s and 6 1s, which makes the number 36. You try the next one. So this time we have 3 10s and 3 1s, making the number 33. And finally, have a go at that one. We have 3 10s and 8 1s, which makes the number 38. What I would like you to do is pause the video and try and order them from smallest to greatest. But you don't have any numbers to help you on the number line, so you're going to have to place the numbers on yourself from smallest to greatest. What you could have done here is first you need to look at the 10s. Now in these numbers, the 10s are all the same, so we can't order them using the 10s to help us. So the next thing we're going to do is look at the 1s. We are going to find the smallest amount of 1s. 33 is the smallest amount of 1s. Then we are going to look for the next smallest amount of 1s, which is the 6 1s. And finally, we are left with the most, which is 8 1s. In that way, we've ordered the numbers from smallest to greatest. Let's have a go at another example. So pause the video and try and figure out what each of these amounts represents. So we have 3 10s and 6 1s, which is 36. 4 10s and 3 1s, which is 43. And finally, 2 10s and 8 1s, which is 28. And this time we are again going to order them from smallest to greatest. So the first thing I need to do is I need to look at the 10s, the amount of 10s, and see if I can use that to help me order them. Can you have a go at that? Which is the smallest amount of 10s? So we have 3 10s, 4 10s, and 2 10s. 2 10s is the smallest amount. That means that 28 is the smallest number. Even though it has the most 1s, it is smallest because it has the least amount of 10s. So we know that's the smallest amount because 10s are worth more than 1. Next, what's the next smallest amount of 10s? That's right, it's 3 10s. So 36 is the next smallest. And finally, the largest is 43 because it has the most amount of 10s. We've ordered from smallest to greatest. Now I have one final example for you before we go on to today's activity. We're going to order some numbers. However, we don't have any base 10 to represent it here, so we're going to look at the numbers themselves. What I'd like you to do is try and order them from smallest to greatest. So when we look at these numbers, first we need to look at how many 10s they have, because that is going to help us to order them. Which has the smallest amount of 10s? So this has 2 10s, 1 10, 4 10s, and no 10s. So no 10s is the smallest amount, and we know that that's the smallest because there are no 10s, and that's the part we look at first. What's the next smallest amount of 10s? 1 10, excellent. So 18 comes next. Then we have 28, which is 2 tens. And finally, the most in this question is 4 tens, which is 48. We don't need to look at the ones when we're ordering because we know the tens are different. If there were some numbers where the tens were the same, then we would look at the ones. In this example, we are going to order them from greatest to smallest. Remember, look at the tens first, and then if you can't order them using the tens, then look at the ones. So we have 46, 41, 40 and 49, starting with the greatest. So first we're going to look at the greatest amount of tens. 4 tens, 4 tens, 4 tens, 4 tens. Now because they're the same, we are going to have to look at the ones instead because we can't order them using the tens. So the greatest amount of ones, would it be 6 ones, 1 1, no ones, or 9 ones? It would be 9 ones, so 49 is the greatest. The next greatest amount, is it 6, 1, or 0? It would be 6, well done. Then 41, and finally 40. And we can see they're ordered from greatest to smallest. That's fantastic work. Now I'm going to show you what your activity is today. In today's worksheet, you have some monster families. Each strip is a different family, and I want you to try and order them by their age, which is written underneath from smallest to greatest. Remember, look at the tens first to find the smallest amount of tens, and then look at the ones. Once you're finishing ordering the families, you can colour in the different aliens. Good luck with today's challenge.